Hey everybody, it's Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. I'm going to take you inside and give you a tour of some new fish we got in, but it was such a nice day I wanted to come out by the river. Let's show you some awesome fish. Come on in. So this is not going to be in any particular order. I'm just going to go down one row of tanks after another. So we're going to see some amazing rare tetras, we're going to see some neat gobies, some rainbow fish, some plecostomus, and some other stuff that I bet you've never seen before. So let's take a look. We can start with these. These are great. This is Kalitawa, Melanitania kalitawa. It's one of the most recent species discovered, so they're small, which is great. It means you can keep more of them in your tank or keep them in a smaller tank than some of the other rainbow fish which turn into big boys. But the other thing about this fish is it's gorgeous. I've seen adults and the color patterns on them are just amazing. These are young adults. They're just starting to get their color in, but in a few months, these are going to be absolute stunners. So they're small, which is great. It means you can keep more of them in your tank or keep them in a smaller tank than some of the other rainbow fish which turn into big boys. The other thing about this fish is it's gorgeous. I've seen adults and the color patterns on them are just amazing. These are young adults. They're just starting to get their color in, but in a few months, these are going to be absolute stunners. I think that this fish is going to become just as popular as Praecox, the dwarf neon rainbow. Maybe even more popular because it's got even more color. Neat little dwarf rainbow fish. These are the L14 Sunshine Plecos. I love these guys. The color is amazing. They're just little babies right now at 2.5 inches. They're going to grow into 12 to 14 inch kind of footballs. So you need a big tank for these. But if you have a big tank, the color on these is amazing. They are a super beautiful pleco. The L14 Sunshine Pleco, and that's aptly named. All right, we got more in. Mugilogobius adii, one of the coolest little gobies from the Sulawesi lakes. Each lake in Sulawesi has its own species. Ricefish, half-beaks, gobies, and Telemotherina often. So you go to a lake, you find this different group of species in each of them. Beautiful little guys, neat patterns, easy to feed, frozen and live. If you can provide that for them, you can have yourself one of the neatest little gobies out there. And one, by the way, that you never see. All right, we got more finally. These are the bumblebee goby, but not the average bumblebee goby. These are the true freshwater bumblebee goby. So Xanthomelis is the species. The reason I like these is you don't have to have any salt in your water. I personally don't enjoy mixing brackish water every time I do a water change. I just want something easy peasy. These guys go in pure fresh water, no problems. I've kept them in soft acidic water, I've kept them in hard alkaline water, and they've done equally well for me. True freshwater bumblebee gobies. If you like bumblebees, but don't like salt, these are for you. And a tetra. This is the Imperial Lapis Tetra. It's an absolute stunner. Now these have only been here for a couple weeks, so they're still developing their color after the shipping experience, but they're gonna turn bright blue with red fins. We've had them in the past, so we know what they're gonna look like when they color in, and they're gonna be absolutely stunning. Another one that I've been trying to get in for a while. Glad to have it. Okay, here's another tetra. We've had these in the past, you might remember, but it's been a long time. This is the Bonita tetra. It looks like a silver tip, except for the males when they color in, back on the tail where it would be like kind of white on a silver tip, it turns bright orange. At the base of the caudal fin, those two white spots, bright orange, almost like a red. So it's a really, really pretty fish. And man, I haven't had this fish in forever, so it's good to see it again. It's like an old friend, you know? This is my favorite of the Pseudomugil gertrudae. There's many, many different locations. The reason I like this one is it looks like the typical spotted and tan one, but it doesn't stay just tan. It has bright yellow to orange coloration on the tips of the unpaired fins, as well as the pelvic fins. It looks basically like you took a Pseudomugil gertrudae, dressed it up for its wedding, made it very pretty. That's what this looks like. So of all the ones I've seen so far, I think this is my favorite gertrudae for sure. Really, really stunning. Okay, here are some fat and sassy L173Bs. So It's a nice zebra type pleco, but the price tag is reasonable. If you like zebra type plecos, but you don't want to pay the high price tag for the L46 or the true 173, the 173B is a nice option. Not too expensive, and still really, really pretty, and in my experience, a darn hardy fish. So this is another old friend. This is the Bolivian orange lemon tetra. So we all know the lemon tetra, it's beautiful, right? Gets the nice yellow on the fins. This is another location of that. Right now we're just calling them a variant. It's in the wild, but it turns bright orange. And I've seen these as adults and they are really, really spectacular. Give them a little time and they'll color into something really, really special. What I like about them is how healthy they are. Nice fat bellies, clear eyes, clear fins. They're doing really well for us. If you like lemon tetras, but you're like, yeah, I've seen them a million times, the Bolivian orange lemon tetra, I think it'll knock your socks off. This is Pseudomugil mellis, the honey blue eye. We've only brought it in once before, so I'm thrilled that we got another batch in. They look fantastic. They're too small to have their color yet, but health-wise, they're doing really, really well. Gotta warn you, this is a pricey fish. They're very hard for me to get, and they're very expensive when I get them. And they're young. It's gonna be difficult for us to pull sex pairs for you. But if you get a group and grow them out, you'll probably end up with both sexes if you want a really cool breeding project. And this is a fish that we are desperate to get established in the hobby in the United States and spread around more, so more people can keep it and the price can drop because it's such a beautiful Pseudomugil species. Right now, they all just look tan. All right, this is Melanotaenia atinjo. It's Bosemani from the Atinjo location. They came in big, so you're not gonna have to wait long for these to color up. Often on rainbow fish, you've got a long, long wait, but not on these guys. They're looking pretty good already. They're gonna turn really dark on the front half of the body and kind of an orange color on the back half when they really get going. These are the Aves Creek. So just like the Atinjo, pretty much, but a different location. These came in smaller, so if you want to watch the transformation as they grow and develop their colors, which I think is a cool process to observe, then these little guys will be a more reasonable price and you can watch that transformation. But again, this one and the Atinjo, what I like about them is how dark the front half gets and how orange the back half gets when they really color in. This is the newest species to hit the aquarium fish industry. This is Melanotaenia marisi, or just like the Kalitawa, it's a dwarf species. So you're gonna top out at around, 3 inches or under for a big male. And they get, again, really bright, beautiful color. Different color palette than the marisi for sure, but these are stunning. So small fish, really colorful and hardy like any other rainbow. Marisi, I think, is also gonna take the aquarium fish industry by storm. In another 10 years, I think these are gonna be just as popular as the praycocks once people learn about them. Okay, what Bentley Pasco, another rainbow fish keeper, refers to as the party animals. This is Chilotharina blairii. The reason he calls them the party animals is because they turn every shade of color when they fire. They just are like this kaleidoscope of color. Right now, they're small, so they hardly have any color, but they're gonna turn into absolutely stunning fish. That's just rainbow fish. Like, you'll notice me saying that all the time. Oh, these are gonna grow into stunners, and that's because it takes rainbow fish a little while to develop their color. But when they do, you'll see why they're worth the wait and why there's a dedicated group of aquarists that just keep rainbows, because they're so enthralling. This is my favorite rainbow fish of all time. This is the Skull Creeks. It's Soloensis is the species name, Melanotaenia soloensis, another dwarf species. What I like about them is as they grow, you can kind of see it now developing a little bit, but as they get bigger, they'll get these really dark, distinct pinstripes going horizontally across the body. They get bright yellow submargins in the fins with a black margin. In that contrast, they have the handsomeness of like a pinstripe suit, but then the beauty of that bright yellow color. When they mature, right now they're barely starting to show it, but they'll get it, it'll come. Okay, really excited about this one. This is a new one for me and it's one I've been wanting for a while. This is Melanotaenia affinis from Pagui. The reason I like it is I think it might be the most colorful of the affinis locations. These are small fish, 1.5 to 2 inches, and they've already developed this bright red color with that black to set it off. They're already looking great. I can only imagine when they're full grown how pretty it'll be, and I've never seen it. I've just seen pictures of them, so I can't wait to see it in person. Although with rainbow fish, it could take a little while for them to really develop. But already, if you got this fish and that's as good as it ever got, it didn't get better with age, I would still be satisfied. They're already just gorgeous. Okay, so this is the red dragon. It's Glossolepis multisquamata. These get big, like 6-7 inches big. So these little babies aren't showing anything yet. Right now they just look like silver sardines, but they're gonna grow into these bright red fish with massive extensions on the dorsal fin and the anal fin, especially the anal fin. It'll look like a big comb extension coming off. So they get big, they get pretty, and they get amazing finnage. So the Glossolepis multisquamata and Wanamensis, which is the emerald rainbow, or emerald dragon, which is a close relative of these. We call these the red dragon. Two really popular fish because for those in the know, you know what this is going to turn into. And when you get to see them up at 4 to 5 inches and they start developing all that amazing finnage, then they're really something special. Okay, we finally got more of these. We did a test a few weeks ago. We made a video testing who is the best algae eater. And we tested Florida flagfish, a mono shrimp, and these. These are the green leaf algae eating shrimp. And these won. These ate more algae quicker than any other species we tested. If you have algae in your tank and you want something to help, these will do that. I mean, look at them all over this big clump right here of hair algae. A lot of critters have trouble eating hair algae because it's so kind of tough and coarse, but not these guys. These guys absolutely love it. So when we're done, what we'll have is we're just gonna have nice clean Java moss and no more hair algae. And that's one way we can, save our plants when they get an infestation. Now we're getting into a really fun section. These are some of the gobies. This is Mugilogobius rexi, the golden goby, and it's going to turn into this bright gold fish with black accents on the fins. And that contrast between that gold and the black just makes them absolutely stunning. This is perhaps the prettiest Stiphodon species there is. This is Stiphodon anniae. Beautiful red color contrasting with iridescent blues. It doesn't get much better than this. A group of these displaying is stunning. It's a sight to behold. They're easy to feed. We put pellets in there, algae wafers. They'll just go and graze on those all day long. They also like the occasional treat of like a bloodworm or some baby brine shrimp, but mainly pellets is a fine base diet for them. They don't get big. We're talking about under 2 inches, 1.5, roughly 1.5 inches probably for an adult. Small fish. Just absolutely stunning with that intricate color pattern. I'll never forget the first time I saw these. They just like blew my mind. We have another goby though that's just as pretty that we'll see shortly here. The L471, the mini snowball pleco, although we don't know for sure if they're as many as we thought. We have a breeder who bought a bunch of these from us and they're getting kind of big. So I contacted my breeder and I'm like, the guy I source these from, I'm like, how big are yours? And he's like, oh, they're about 4 inches. And I was like, I thought these stayed small. He's like, no, I don't think that's true. I think that's a myth. And so the breeder I sold them to checked with his massive pleco nerd friends out in England and it was like, mine are getting kind of big. And the people in England were like, yeah, these tend to get bigger than people think they're gonna get. It used to be that if you saw one of these getting over 2.5 inches, you're like, oh, that's a 201. But by now, we've kept these long enough, and by we, I mean pleco keepers who are in the know, to say, actually, with time, these get bigger. The L471 is a great fish, but the common name of mini snowball pleco, I think might have jumped the gun a little bit. It's a beautiful form of a snowball pleco, but it's not as many as we thought. So here we have one that does appear to stay pretty small. This is the L174 ocelot pleco. Can you bring the camera in? Because I'm going to flip this over. So this one so far does appear to only get about 2.5 inches, maybe slightly bigger when it's full grown. Look at those. These guys are just amazing. I mean, they're that small and they already have that good of a pattern. They have nice big bellies, Fins look good, eyes look good. I think this batch is absolutely fantastic. This is one that's almost never available. Luckily, there's a guy that got a few and has been breeding them and doing a good job, and I'm able to source from him. This might be the rarest pleco we have, the L174 Ocelot. Okay, here's a new one to me. I have never had this fish before. This is Pseudomugil cyanodorsalis. The reason I've never brought it in before is because they have saltwater populations and freshwater populations, and they have some populations that experience both. I didn't want to take the risk of putting them in freshwater and having them do poorly. I thought about it for a long time, and I decided I'm going to try it once and see how it goes. And the reason I thought it'd be safe to do here, and I couldn't do it before, is here we have really hard mineral-rich water. So it's basically like salt water, but with a lot less salt. That's our natural water here at this location. Before I had really soft water, it tended to lean towards the acidic side. And so I didn't want to take a fish that often is found in salty water and put it in soft fresh water. But I thought it'd be worth trying these. So we brought these in, we started them in brackish water, and we've gradually transitioned them over to fresh water. And so far, so good. They're doing really well for us. If they do well for our customers, then maybe I'll bring more in from this breeder. This is a fish that I've been wanting to get forever and just have kind of held back because I didn't know if I could take care of it properly in my former water conditions. Okay, here's that other goby species that gives Anier a run for its money. This is Stiphodon rudularius. It's just as pretty as Anier, but with a slightly different pattern. But you still have your bright reds, your amazingly bright blues, your lacy, intricate patterns. It looks like, you know, when grandma made that really nice doily out of lace, it's kind of patterned like that. So these and Anier, probably just the prettiest as far as sheer color goes on a Stiphodon goby. You might have seen in August that we released a tour of Scotty's fish room, and he had some fish there that I wanted, and he was nice enough to sell them to me. So we have some of Scotty's full green guppies. These are a pure full green strain, really high quality stock. Like any line, they're gonna need constant upkeep, but the genes on these are pretty darn good. So happy to have those from Scotty. And I got two more species from Scotty. Limia perugiae, one of my favorite Limias ever, just because they're like super bright iridescent glitter with yellow in the fins and nice black margins to contrast that. So the whole package together is just a really neat looking fish. It's hard not to like this fish when you see it in person. It's just an amazing live bear. This is Montezuma. So Xiphophorus montezuma, Monte swords. This fish has the longest sword of any swordtail in ratio to the body size. Often the sword is, I don't know, a couple times bigger than the body in a nice full-grown male. That might be exaggerating slightly, but I don't think so. Like, the swords get really, really big. These are juveniles. They're unsexed. They're hobbyist bred and raised by Scotty. They're in good shape. They're in great health. And so they're gonna do well for you. Really happy to have those. So that's the tour of the latest fish that we brought in that are going to be posted for sale. Do this every now and then just so that you can kind of see what you're actually be getting if you buy something at dancefish.com. Since most of our clientele is spread around the US and can't come in and see the fish in person, this is the next best thing, right? You get to see a video of them. We also have a bunch of amazing fish from the Congo that will be available in another week or so. I want to take a moment to thank our customers. Thank you so much for helping us stay in business, frankly, and helping us be able to do this job, which we love to do. Also want to thank the members of the channel. Thanks for being a member of the Fishmonger crew. And with that, I think I'll sign off and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye. So here we have a tank of Microtendopoma and Sorgia. And as you can see, it's fairly bare. All we have in here is a box filter to help clarify the water, and a little piece of wood that they can get under if they want. And look how they're out and about. These guys are not shy. Look at this, right here. They don't care. In fact, they're gonna get very excited to see me. Watch this. They're gonna jump for the food. Come on up. Yeah, there it goes. Did you see that? They're gonna, whoop. Do you see them jumping? They'll like come out and try to get me. I don't see how you could say this is a shy fish. Keep them in numbers like this and they're gonna be out and about. The other thing is, these will eat dry foods. Now, It is hard to get them to eat dry food sometimes. Sometimes they like frozen and live. But if you have a big group together, they kind of cue off each other, and it's much easier to train them to eat flake foods and pellets. If you notice though, they're not a super fast fish to the food. They're kind of grazing around. They'll pick it, they'll eat it. They're very polite. They make sure they're completely done swallowing and chewing before they go to the next piece. So it's not like some fish that are just like, nom, 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 nom. These guys will pick one, they'll chew it, they'll swallow it, and then they'll gradually move over to the next one.